There are good athletes, there are great athletes, and then there's Caleb Wilson, one of the best athletes in college basketball, and he's going to walk into the NBA as one of the most explosive players in the league. But I'm not just picking Caleb Wilson over Cam Boozer because of his athleticism. I'm picking him because he could be a really special defender at the next level, and because he's more of a modern four compared to Boozer. After the season Cam Boozer had, some people think I'm going to be crazy. But to those people, I want you to remember, we're not picking who's going to be the better college player 2 years from now. We're talking about who's going to be the better NBA player. And certain college players' games translate well, and other players, well, not so much. One thing impossible to deny is that Caleb Wilson is a beast in transition. For one, he's a great lob threat. He has a huge radius of where he could catch the ball and finish it. And two, he just wants to dunk every single time. He kind of reminds me of Blake Griffin in that way, where he just wants to dunk everything. Or you could even say there's some shades of Giannis in his game. And it's not just in transition. If you look at his half-court game, he's a pretty good cutter. I would like to see him cut more, but here he makes a nice 45 angle cut. And in the half-court, he'll try some audacious dunks where he's trying to take someone's head off. But more often than not, he's actually going to his floater when attacking the basket, which he could definitely do a better job of finishing. There's times where he's just kind of forcing it, and you could tell he's like stuck in mid-air, and you could tell he kind of went up without a plan and now he has to force up a floater. But overall, it's not a bad shot for him, and I think he'll improve on it in the league. If you take dunking out of the equation, I don't think it's a comparison on who's the better finisher around the basket. You gotta give that to Cameron Boozer right now. But dunking is actually a very important part of the equation. For one, you want your bigs to be able to dunk the ball in the dunker spot. That's why it's called that. And we know Caleb likes to dunk everything, but Boozer, he tends to pump fake a lot, and he doesn't finish with dunks around the basket. And two, you want your bigs to be able to set screens and roll hard to the basket and finish with authority, which Cam can't really do because he's not a high flyer, and he really just tends to go to his post game after setting a screen. Caleb, on the other hand, will roll hard to the basket, but the thing is, UNC didn't really figure out that they could use him that way until 9 games into the season, and even then they didn't use him as a screener as much as you would think. But I'm not kidding when I say that every time they used him as a screener in the pick and roll, that it would result in either a foul or a basket for them. His post-ups were more of a mixed bag. There were times where he would just throw crap up, and like I said before, he just sometimes goes up without a plan. But then there's other times where he shows beautiful footwork, and one of his go-to moves is the spin move that's super effective. On this play, he shows some nice counter moves, but overall he doesn't have a lot of counter moves, and that's partly because I think he plays the game at a higher speed. As he gets older, I think the game will slow down for him a bit, and he'll get better in the post. But Boozer's tendency to play bully ball, I think, won't necessarily translate all that well. Now, I should mention Caleb's most difficult shot in the post, and that's his turnaround jumper. The turnaround jumper is one of the most difficult shots in basketball. MJ mastered the shot, and that's partly why he dominated so late into his career, and we've seen guys like Kobe and DeMar also master it. But the list is very small of the guys who could hit that shot at a high level. He's definitely not there yet, but he could hit this shot at a high clip, and there's not many players at his age that have been able to hit this shot at the rate that he's been hitting it. He's 6'10", and it's basically impossible for most players to block this shot. It could look so pure, and it's so pretty when it goes in. But for the life of me, I do not understand how he could have such good touch on that shot, but then struggle to shoot in easier situations. Someone has to explain this to me because I don't understand it. My guess is that it's a rhythm thing, and he just hasn't had enough practice catching and shooting the ball enough. I would say Caleb's a little bit better when it comes to his off-the-dribble shooting. Shooting is Caleb's swing skill. This is what could take him from being a role player or to an all-star. And Boozer is definitely the better shooter, and in that way he is the safer pick between the two players. Boozer at least will try to pass him when he gets doubled, There were times where I felt like Caleb didn't even want to pass or sense the double coming. Like this Luca guy, number 44 on UNC, probably hated playing with Caleb in some ways because he would never pass him the ball every time Caleb got doubled. Okay, maybe I'm over-exaggerating a little bit, but Caleb did have a tendency to wait until the double team fully committed before passing. He's not a lost cause in this area. He did have plenty of passes where he would drive and kick, and he would find cutters. I'm just saying his floor mapping could be improved. And he's not a finished product on defense either. There was some ball watching and some lazy contests, and also a little bit of mental lapses on defense. Like here, Cal runs this chin action for one of their shooting bigs, and it's a made 3 for them. And in the second half, Cal runs it again, but Caleb doesn't realize it, and it's a late contest for him. This is all teachable, all correctable. But what you cannot teach is his size and length. He has some crazy defensive tools to work with. He's a nice rim protector, and an NBA team can use him as a roamer. I don't know what his wingspan is, but I could tell you it's really long. Here he's able to reach out and just knock the ball out. And on this play, he's able to intercept Boozer's pass with ease. And yeah, he needs to get better as a post defender, he needs to get stronger, and he needs to be less handsy. But he'll get stronger over time, and once the defensive basketball IQ improves and catches up to the level of his talent, then we're talking about a first team all defense type of prospect. And this is the primary reason why I cannot pick Boozer over Caleb. I just can't. I know Boozer is better on offense, but teams are going to target him on defense like they did during March Madness. And I don't have to worry about that with Caleb. Give me the guy whose game should better translate to the NBA. I don't believe either of these guys are number 1 options on our NBA team, but both guys still have all-star potential, and it's going to be really fun to see who ends up being the better player. I did a deep dive on Cam Boozer in my previous video. Make sure to check that out. I appreciate you guys watching to the end. Thanks for watching. Peace.